So welcome back guys, and so far we have talked about how we can handle the Excel sheets using JXL, and it was a library. Actually, JXL was a library which was used to handle the .xls files only. Okay, so it was not able to handle the .xlsx files. So that was the main drawback of the JXL. That is why Apache POI has come in a picture. Okay, and today we are going to discuss about Apache POI. So in this session, what we are going to talk about is what is Apache POI, first of all. Okay, then we will talk about what are different classes available, what is the structure of the Apache POI API, and then we will see some examples through which we can handle XLS file as well as the XLSX file. Okay, and then we will try to figure out the difference between JXL and Apache POI. Then we will discuss that which one we should use, JXL or Apache POI. Okay, so both libraries are quite famous in the industry today, and most of the companies are using JXL or Apache POI. But believe me, Apache POI is more famous. Why? Because it can handle XLS file as well as the XLSX file. That is the biggest advantage Apache POI has. Okay, so let us start with the introduction kind of stuff of the Apache POI first. Okay, so in the introduction part, what we are going to talk about is Apache POI is an API, okay, application programming interface. It is an API designed by Apache software, right? Designed by Apache software. And in this API, it has certain jar files available in it. And all of those jar files have certain classes and interfaces and abstract classes. And using those classes, we can actually handle XLS files, XLSX files, doc files, docx files, PPT files, PPTX files, properties file, and so on. Okay, so let me talk about the introductory part of the Apache POI. So what is Apache POI? So Apache POI is a collection of Java libraries designed to handle Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, and Excel files. Okay, in short. So here POI stands for Poor of Obfuscation Implementation. Sorry. So what this is long form came from the previous versions of the Apache POI. Okay, where the POI was previously stand for POIFS. So that was the abbreviation taken from the previous version of the Apache POI, and they have designed the new Apache POI system over here. So this API is designed with various jar files, various libraries available in it, and using all of those libraries, we can actually handle the XLS files as well as the XLSX files. So what it can do is it can handle doc files, docx files, PPT files, PPTX files, XLS files, XLSX files. So these many files Apache POI can actually handle. So that is the biggest advantage over here we have. So let's say in future, if you want to handle some PPT files, your data is in some PPT files. Usually data doesn't, test data doesn't contain in the PPT files or maybe Word files. Okay, but most of time your test data might reside in the XLS file or XLSX files. So in today's industry, most of the people, most of the projects are using the .xlsx files. Okay, that is the latest version of the Microsoft Excel, and this is the latest file format. Now what is the difference between XLS and XLSX? So XLS was considered as row and column, okay, where cell was containing the data, but here in the XLSX, it considers the spreadsheet as a XML document. Okay, so what we have over here is the tags. So it is quite convenient for the Apache POI to handle the XLS file as well as the XLSX files, because it can read the XML spreadsheets in that way only. Okay, so it is designed in such a way that it can also read the XML spreadsheets, that is XLSX files. So this is all about the introductory part of the Apache POI. Now let us talk about the different classes available in the Apache POI. Now there are different classes associated for different file extensions that we want to handle. Let's say, for example, we want to handle XLS files. In that case, we can use HSSF class. Okay, so this is the name of class in in Apache POI. So we are going to talk about the long form of them also. And then we have the XLSX file. To handle the XLSX file, we have class called as XSSF. Okay, and if you want to handle the doc files, document files, Microsoft Word files, then in that case you can go with the HWPF. This is the name of class. And then for docx we have XWPF. For PPT we have HSLF. So these are the different classes associated with the different files that we want to handle in a simple sense. So these are the different classes present. These are not the only classes. Okay, Apache POI have certain other classes also which will be helpful for us to write a code. Okay, but this is the kind of introduction, and these are the different extensions, and these are the different classes which are associated with those files. Okay, so what it means is, if you want to handle .xls file, then you have to use class HSSF. If you want to handle .xlsx file, then you need to use XSSF class. So if you want to handle doc file, then you have to go with the HWPF file, HWPF class. So there are different classes for different files, in short. Okay. Next, we have a workbook interface here in the Apache POI. Okay, the same interface we have seen in the JXL also. Okay, we have used that interface in the JXL. So this is the parent interface of all classes which are designed to handle the Excel files. Let's say if you want to handle the XLS file, you have HSSF class. Okay, if you want to handle XLSX file, then you have XSSF class. Then these two classes are actually child classes of workbook interface, and these two classes implements the workbook interface in different ways. Okay, so workbook interface having certain methods in it. Okay, and all of those methods have been implemented by HSSF workbook class and XSSF workbook class. So there are two classes which implements the workbook interface. First class is HSSF workbook class. This implements the workbook interface, as well as the XSSF workbook class. This also implements the workbook interface. First class, that is HSSF workbook, is used to handle .xls file that we have talked about, and XSSF workbook is used to handle .xlsx file. So this is the kind of introduction of the Apache POI. Now let us talk about a difference between JXL and Apache POI. But I guess we should leave this topic for the summary part of this session, and we will directly jump on to see how we can actually write a code to handle Apache POI. Sorry, to handle Excel files using Apache POI. So we already have created a package over here, and that is Excel handling. In it, we have created a package that is using JXL. Now let's create another package, and its name we are going to give is using POI. Using POI. That's it. So inside this, let us create one class, and we will give this as a name, that Excel demo. Okay, we can give any name to the class. For the sake of example, I'm giving this name. That's it. Perfect. Now what we need to do is, we need to what we want is, we want to handle .xls files as well as .xlsx files. First, we are going to see the example to handle .xls file. Okay, for that we are going to require different libraries associated with the Apache POI. So from where you can download the Apache POI libraries, you can simply search on Google, download Apache POI, and it will lead you to the download page of the Apache POI. Okay, here you can see the stable version. The latest stable version is 4.0.1. If you want the previous version, obviously you can download the previous version from this page here. Okay, but now what I want is the Apache POI. So if you are working on the Linux, you should go for the tar.gz file. If you are working on the Windows or maybe Mac, you should go for the .zip file over here. So I already have downloaded this. Okay, binary distribution you need to download. Okay, you need to consider this part. So we require a binary distribution. Okay, this contains actual jar files required to handle the Excel file. And we have a source distribution over here. That means it has all the source code of the Apache POI. Apache POI is free. Okay, you don't have to pay anything, and it is open source also. So you need to what I have is I already have a binary distribution. I don't have the source, so I'm right now downloading the source. Once you download all the required jars in your folder, so let me show you what kind of jars we have over here. So here, this kind of folder you will get. Okay, I have POI 3.17, also 4.01. So I'm gonna use 4.01 over here, and you can see different jars are available over here. The different folder structure is available. One is docs, lib, license, notice, OXML, that is open office XML formats, OXML libs, and POI jars. Different jars are there. So we will add them based on the requirement, so that we will came to know that what kind of jar is required for what kind of exception. So I'm going to add jars one by one, so that you people will have an idea that which jar should be added and how we are going to identify that what kind of jar we require. Okay, so first I will add only this POI 4.0.1 jar in our project. So let me build my project with the jar required. So simply right click on the project, go to properties, go to Java build path, and here in the Java build path, click on add external jars. Then go to the location where your jars have been downloaded. Okay, and now I'm going to add only this jar. Okay, POI 4.0.1 dot jar. Open and apply and okay, that's it. Okay, this is the single jar I have configured to my project. Why? Because I want to show you people that what kind of exceptions we will get and how we can solve those exceptions by adding the jars. So simply I'm going to create a main method over here. Okay, now I want to handle the .xls file. Okay, so let me create a .xls file in the project itself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create one folder over here, and its name is input. The folder is already present, right? So in this folder, we have the .xls file, that is test jxl.xls. This is the name of file that we have. So what we need to do is we have to create a reference variable of workbook. Book is equals to new HSF workbook. Why? Because we want to read .xls file. To read .xls file. Okay, this is the program to read .xls file. So let us import this workbook and HSF. Now it is asking to import it from JXL as well as Apache user model. So we want to import it from Apache user model itself. Okay, we don't want a workbook interface of JXL. We want a workbook interface of Apache user model. Remember this, JXL also has the workbook interface. Apache POI also has the workbook interface. Okay, import it. Now let's import this one. from the same package. Perfect. That's it. Now what we require is we need to create an instance of the file input stream. Okay, and then we are going to give the path of it. Let's say it's an input folder in which we have test JXL .xls. Perfect. So this is the input stream that we have created, and it will ask us to add the, or maybe we are going to surround it with the try catch. Perfect. And let's write this code inside the try catch block only. So let me, yeah, and here we can pass the file instance and add one more catch block over here. So I'm going to remove this first catch block because file not found is a child class of IO exception, and I'm just going to keep this one IO exception because this is the parent. And here I'm going to write file not found. Okay, that's it. So this is how we have pointed this book instance to this XLS file. Now next what we need to do is we need to point to the sheet of our interest. So let me see that what kind of sheet we have inside test JXL. Okay, so let me quickly open this, the location of it. Yep. It is opening up. So once it opens, we are going to have a look that what is the structure of the JXL file that we want to read. Sorry, JXL, not JXL, but XLS file. Okay, we are having a look at the code which will read XLS file first, and then we will see that how we can read .xlsx file. Okay, both programs we are going to have a look at. So it might be a sheet 1. Yeah, its name is sheet 1 and its index is 0, and these are the different data available inside this file. Okay, perfect. Now I'm going to cancel this one. Okay, now we want to point to the sheet of our choice. For that we need to create HSSF sheet object. Okay, and let's import this one from user model, Apache user model. That's it. And then in the book dot get sheet. Okay, we have two methods over here. First method is get sheet, which will take string name of the sheet. Second method we have is get sheet add. It takes integer index of the sheet. In JXL we had one method only, that is get sheet, and the method was overloaded to take string name as well as int index of the sheet. But here they have created two separate methods. One will get the sheet by its name, other will get the sheet by its index. So the one which gets sheet by its name is get sheet. Okay, this is one we are going to use. Sheet 1, that's it. Book dot get sheet. Okay, what is it trying to say? So it is asking me to typecast the get object of it. That's fine, perfect. So now we are pointing to the sheet 1 over here. So let me see, we have the spell correct, right? Okay, now our sheet object is pointing to this sheet 1 from this test.jxl.xls file. Next task is we need to identify that how many active rows are there in. So for that we have to create int rows variable, integer variable, and from sheet we need to get rows. Okay, get last row num. This is the method that we have, and it will give the last row number available inside the sheet. In the JXL we had the same method, not the same, but get rows was the method over there inside JXL. Here we have get last row num. Okay, now we got the last row number, so let me show you that how it can print the total number of rows. Total number of rows, okay, plus rows. That's it. Now let me execute this program and let me show you that how many rows are present inside the test JXL file. So there are total number of rows are 3. Okay, 3 rows are there inside this file. So can you see 0, 1, 2, 3. So this is the last row number it is giving us. Okay, and now we need to iterate on this. Sorry, for loop, using the for loop we are going to iterate it right from 0 to last, sorry, rows. Okay, rows, and then I plus plus. That's it. Now we are going to iterate through the loops, through the rows. Now we want to iterate through the cells present in one row, right? We have to iterate through the cells because one row, this is one row, and this row is having 1, 2, 3, 4 active cells in it. So we have to get how many cells are there in it. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an object of the row over here, sheet dot get row. This is the method that we have, and here we have to pass the index of the row. Now what will happen over here is, so let us import this. This row object will start pointing to the ith row, and i's initial value is 0. So this row instance is initially pointing to the 0th row of the Excel sheet. Now we have to get the last cell available inside this row, and that we can do using last cell num. This is the method that we have. So let us create the variable cells equal to, that's it. So it's pretty easy. What we are doing is very simple and easy. So we have applied a for loop for the rows, and then we have created an instance for a row so that we can point to a single row, and from that single row how many cells are present in it, that is what we are trying to find out over here. So that we got over here cell. Now we need to iterate over these cells. Okay, right from int I is equals to 0, I less than cells, and I plus plus. That's it. So instead of I we should use the J because it is already used. Perfect. Now here what I need to do is we need to get the contents of the cell. Okay, so whatever content is there in the cell, we should get that content. So how we are going to do that? So we have a object of row created. Okay, then inside this row, actually row is an interface over here. Can you see? Row is an interface. Inside this interface we have a method get cell. Okay, inside this method we need to pass the cell number. Now this cells variable is iterating the cells present inside that particular row. Okay, the row pointed by this row instance, and the row pointed is 0th row right now. Okay, so get inside get cell, what we are going to pass is 0. Why? Because we want to read the 0th cell first, and what kind of value we want to get from this cell is string value. Okay, so you should remember that Apache POI provides you the type safety over here. So if the cell is consisting a string data, it is going to read the data as a string. If the cell is going to contain some numeric data, then obviously it is going to return the numeric data. So let me show you the example. Let's say salary. This is the numeric data, maybe 15,000, 20,000, 25,000. Okay, and dot get string cell value. This is the method that we have. Okay, get string cell value. This is the method that we have. But before that, let me show you that what is the return type of this get cell method. Its return type is cell. Okay, now what is cell? Let me import this. Cell of Apache POI you need to import, right? Now what is cell? Cell is an interface of Apache POI. The same interface we have seen in the JXL also. Okay, JXL also has the cell interface. Apache POI also has the cell interface. Okay, and get cell return type is the reference variable of the cell interface. Okay, so return type of get cell method is cell data type. Okay, that's it. And then we have to call the method cell.get string cell value. So there are other different methods also available through which you can perform different operation on the cell. But what I want is data from the cell. That is why I'm calling this method get string cell value. So let me print this over here using the not a println but a print, so that I can print the entire content in a tabular format, and then plus and then tab by using /t. That's it. And then I'm going to put some new line over here. Perfect. So let's execute this program and let's see what happens. Yep, can you see over here, illegal state exceptions cannot get a string value from a numeric cell. So this kind of exception you can see inside Apache POI only. Why? Because Apache POI reads integer value as an integer, string as an string, boolean as an boolean, formula as an formula. Okay, so here what is it saying? It is saying, so let me maximize this console, and here on the console we can see that illegal state exception have been occurred over here, and it is saying that we cannot get a string value from a numeric cell. So this is the customized kind of exception over here in the HSSF cell in class. Okay, HSSF cell interface. And for what kind of value it have given this exception is this 1 and 2 in the serial number that we have written. Can you see 1, 2 and 3? These are the numeric values. So for this one it have given the exception, and after this line it didn't executed the program. So let me handle this exception for now, and we will talk that how we can get the numeric cell values. So let me write down try catch blocks over here and catch block. Okay, and the same exception we are going to catch, that is a legal state exception. Okay, and then we are going to put asterisk. Okay, so whatever value which is not string, for instead of that value we are going to put asterisk. Okay, not a println again. So let me write down the print and /t. That's it. Let's execute this. Yep, can you see over here serial number, serial number, serial number, serial number, it have printed, and before everything it have given the asterisk values. Okay, so now we need to see that what is happening with our program. Okay, So it is giving the serial number only. So what we need to do is get last. That is the correct. Okay. Okay. So let us execute this. Sorry. Yeah, perfect. Can you see over here? So instead of print ln, I should write only print here. So instead of 1, 2, and 3, whatever, okay, it have printed asterisks. So whatever numeric values are there, those numeric values have been replaced by the asterisk. So after asterisk, let me put the /t tab so that we can clearly differentiate the output. That's it. So instead of numeric values, it have, simply what it has done is it has replaced all the numeric values with the asterisk values. Why? Because the exception have occurred for those numeric values. Now what we need to do is we need to deal with these numeric values. Okay. And let me write down here equal to, so that it will iterate till the last row and last cell. Okay, exception in thread main, that is null pointer, so it is okay, that's it, fine, perfect. Sorry. So this is the data that we have. Now we were only printing the string value out of the cells. Now we have to handle our program. We have to write our program in such a way that it should handle numeric value, it should handle string value, it should handle boolean values, and so on and so forth. So for that, what we need to do is we have to replace this code, okay, which is getting the string value from the cell. Okay, now how we can do that? So for that we have to use either if else, okay, where we are going to check that what kind of value is present inside the cell. Okay, so we have to check that first, and then we need to decide that what kind of method we should fire. So for numeric value we have a method get numeric value. For string value from cell we have a method called as get string value. For boolean kind of value we have get boolean value. For formula we have get formula method. Okay, so there are different methods available to get the different kind of data. So either we can handle this by means of if else or by means of switch case, but my favorite is switch over here, so I'm going to write a switch case inside this for loop. Okay, and what I'm going to pass over here is cell, sorry, so I have to create the object of the cell first. Okay, then cell is equals to row dot get cell at jth position, right? That's it. So I have this cell. Now I have a method inside a cell interface, and that is get cell type. Okay, this is the method. Now what is the return type of this method is type of the cell. Okay, what kind of data or what kind of value is present inside the cell will be returned. So we are going to check what kind of data is there in it. Okay, so let's say if a cell has cell dot, now the cell interface is imported wrongly, I guess. Okay, and cell dot class, this thing, cell. Okay, so we have a method in this cell interface. So far we have write this code over here where we have created the instance of the cell, okay, a reference variable of the cell interface, and we have used this method get cell, in which we have passed this j, which will initially point to the 0th cell of the 0th row, and then we are going to check that what kind of value the cell is having. For that we have used this method of the cell interface, and the name of method is get cell type. So we have got the cell type, and then we have got the name of the cell type. Means what kind of names are there? So let me write them down over here. Okay, so what are the names available, right? So let me write them down. Okay, sorry. Okay, what are the different names? So first we have is numeric, and then we have is string. These are the name of the data types. Okay, and few more are there. Cell dot get cell type dot, can you see over here in the cell type method we have none underscore none. Okay, names are underscore none. Okay, so let me show you none. Then blank is also there, so if any cell is blank, then obviously it will return a blank value. So blank is a static final variable inside cell interface. Okay, blank, and then boolean, error, formula, numeric, and string. Okay, so we have boolean, error, formula. These are the different names available inside cell interface, and all of these names are static final variables. So if I could have the source code of Apache POI 4.0, then I would have show you that how these variables looks inside the cell interface. So these are the different names available for the different type of data present in the cell. So this kind of data safety is given or provided by only Apache POI. But if you go for the JXL, obviously you don't have this kind of type safety feature. So the only headache over here is we have to handle all of these names differently, and that is why we have written these two for loops so far. So why we have written two for loops? Because our Excel sheet is having only numeric data as well as the string data, and that is why we have written only two if else statement. But if your Excel sheet is having none, blank, numeric, string, boolean, error, or formula, then you have to write those many if else statements over here. So this is how we can handle the JXL, sorry, XLS file. Okay, this is the code to read the XLS file. So let me save this code so that I can give it to you people. Okay, over the gate, obviously I will share this code on the gate. Okay, now let us see how we can handle the XLSX file using Apache POI. Okay, so let me copy this data, the same data I'm going to keep into the XLSX file that we are going to create. So let us create a file, new file, and test, sorry, caps lock is on, test POI. Okay, and sorry, I haven't given the extension, so it has created a simple file. So let me delete this one and create a fresh one, test POI.xlsx, xlsx. That's it. So this is the XLSX file that we have created. Is not valid. Okay, it is not able to understand this file, Eclipse. So let's open the folder in which the file is there, and this is the XLSX file that we have. Let us open this file. Oh, my Excel is not able to handle, I guess. So let me see whether it can directly save from here. I guess I have a older version of the Microsoft Excel. Perfect. This is the XLSX file that we have created, and we have the same data inside this XLSX file. I'm just going to change the name of this sheet, okay, for the sake of example, and I'm going to give the name as POI. Okay, now let's write a code for this. Okay, let's write down the code. For that, we need to create a class, and I'm going to give the class name as test XL SX. Okay, this is the name of class I'm going to give. Okay, so let's write down the code. I'm going to start from the main method over here, and same, we have to create file input stream instance over here. File input stream, if I is equals to new file input stream. Why input stream? Because we are going to read the data. If you want to write a data, then we have to create an instance of file output stream. Okay, then here in the input we have the file, and its name is testpoi.xlsx. Testpoi.xlsx. That's it. So let's add the try catch blocks, and we are going to give the message over here, file not present, or any error message you can give. And then we are going to create an instance of the workbook. Book is equals to, now this time we have to create an instance of XSSF workbook. Okay, remember this point. So let's import this workbook from user model package and XSFS. So we have to give the new keyword over here, new XSF workbook, and let's import this one. So yeah, now it is not showing up the XSF workbook class. Okay, for that we have to add the package for the XSF workbook. Now how you can find that which package, which library is there for XSFS class? Okay, so let us simply Google over here jar for XSSF workbook in a simple sense. Okay, so we previously have added the POI 4.0.1 jar. Okay, for that, now for the XSSF workbook, what we need is POI OOXML. This is the jar we require. So we already have the package with us. So let me show you that what kind of jars we have. In the POI 4.01, we have OOXML libs. Okay, sorry. Here we have this POI OOXML 4.0.1. So this is the jar we need to import. So let's build our project. Okay, let's build the project with the jar, this one, POI OXML 4.0.1. So while creating the video, this is the version of jar. There may be a possibility in future it may get updated. Now it is asking us to import the perfect file. So did you understand this point? To handle the XLSX files, two kind of jars we are going to require. First jar we require is POI 4.0.1. Second jar we require is POI OOXML, that is OpenOffice XML 4.0.1 jar. Okay, so these are the two jars we require. That's it. So we have started pointing to the book. Now let's start pointing to the sheet of our interest. So for that, we have a class called as XSSF sheet. Okay, and we are going to create an instance of it. Here also we have two methods, getSheet and getSheet@. This time I'm going to use getSheet@. So I'm going to get the sheet by its 0th index. Okay, add cast to this one. Okay, perfect. Now let us get the number of rows present in the sheet, and for that we have to write sheet.get last row num, the same method that we have used for XLS file. Now apply the for loop again. Okay, let's apply the for loop manually. I less than or equals to rows I plus plus. That's it. So we have started iterating the rows. Now let's create an instance of the row is equals to. So instead of creating it again and again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to mention it over here. Okay, and row. Let's import this row. Row. Okay, sheet dot get row. This is the method that we have, and here we have to pass the row number that we are interested in. Now row instance has the row of our choice, that is 0th row first. Okay, then let's get the cells available inside this row. Okay, so int cells is equals to row dot get last cell num, right? That's it. Then again apply the for loop on the cells now, right? Int j is equals to 0, j is less than cells, j plus plus. That's it. Perfect. Now again, type safety occurs over here, so we have to check what kind of type it is. So for that we are going to create an instance of the cell is equals to. So let's import the cell interface from Apache user model. Okay, remember now. Then we have to get the cell, that is row dot get cell, and here we are going to pass the j. Now we have this cell. Now we are going to write a if statement where we are going to check whether cell dot get cell type dot name, okay, dot equals numeric, whether it is numeric or string or something like that. Okay, so if it is a numeric, then what we are going to do is we are going to print cell dot get numeric cell value. Okay, else if it is cell dot get cell type, okay, dot name dot equals, and then if it is maybe string, then what we are going to do is we are going to write this code over here, which will print the string cell value, get string cell value. This is the name of method that we have. So I'm writing only two if else statement again. Why? Because I have only integer data and string data in my Excel sheet. So let me quickly reformat it to display it properly. And then again, we are going to write the new line after each and every row has been printed. So this is the simple code that we have to print entire details of the Excel sheet that we have, and that is the XLSX file. Okay, no class def found error. Can you see this exception over here? No class def found error. And what is the class it is not finding? org.apache.xml beans XML object. So this is the class which Apache didn't find. What is the reason for this? Again, we require a jar file. Now what kind of jar file we require? We require XML beans jar file. So this is how you need to identify that what kind of jar is required and what kind of jar file we need to add and what kind of jar file we don't need to add. Okay, so here if you face this kind of exception, that is no class def found error, if you face this kind of errors or exceptions, then consider to add the jar file required. So it will say you that org.apache xml beans xml object, this is missing. So you can simply google again, okay, xml XML beans jar. So you can see over here, okay, the XML beans jar, you can get a path, you can get a different URLs to download the XML beans, but Apache POI gives you the XML beans jar along with the bundle itself. Okay, so where that file presents. Okay, so you simply have to go to the lib folder over here, and not in the lib, sorry. uh, Yep, here is the XML beans jar is present. So if you would download the entire bundle of the Apache POI, Apache POI will give you this supporting jar also, XML beans jar. So we have to add this jar to our project. So let's configure our project quickly. Okay, so let's add the jar file, XML beans, apply, and okay. Now execute it once again. One more exception that we got is class not found exception, and now this time the class is different. Can you see now? So let me zoom this in. This time we have this org.apache.commons collections 4. Okay, collections 4 we need. Now let us see whether Apache POI has given the collections 4 inside its bundle. Okay, so go to lib and common codec commons collection. Can you see this? This is the jar we require, commons collection. Okay, this is the name of jar that we require, commons collections. So this jar also comes with the bundle of Apache POI. So let's add this jar one more time, not one more time but the first time. Okay, click on the add external jars and then go back. Inside POI, inside lib, we have commons collections. This is the jar that we require, commons collections. Open this jar, click on apply, click on OK. That's it. Again, try to execute our program. One more time we got the same kind of exception, no class def found error, or no class def found error, or class not found error exception. So this kind of exceptions you may usually get while using the Apache POI, but you should clearly understand them that they are related with the jar only. And what are the jars missing? You can see them from here itself. So can you see zip file? Apache Commons compress archives zip file. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to search for this. Okay, I'm just going to copy this, and inside my browser I'm going to hit jar for this. Right now the jar for this is commons compress. Can you see commons compress 1.5 jar? So let us see if the bundle contains this file. Okay, commons codec, commons collection, commons compress. This is the jar file that we require. Again, add this jar file. Why I'm telling you people that go through this way, because most of the interviewer may ask you that what kind of jars you require for handling the Apache POI XLSX files. Now let's execute this. So we have one more time, the exception is there, and this time it is open XML formats schema spreadsheet XML. Okay, no class def found error we have. Okay, so let's again copy this. So XML schema should be added. Okay, jar for, remove this, and then paste this one. POI OXML schemas, this is the jar we require. So let's see if the POI bundle has this jar. So obviously it has it. Okay, POI OXML schema. So let me see where this has. POI OXML schema. This is the jar file that we have. So let us configure this with your project again. Add external jar and then go to POI and OXML schemas. This is the jar we require. Click on apply. Okay, that's it, and execute this one. So one more time, what it is saying is sheet index 0 is out of range. It's saying that there are no sheets. So let me see whether we have saved it or not. Yes, we have saved it. Okay, so somehow it is not getting the sheet from the 0th row. So let us change this method to the name itself. Okay, and we will call it as POI. That's it. So let's execute this one more time. And it is saying null pointer exception at line number 18. So it is not able to get the last row number from the sheet. So instead of workbook, let us write this down as XSSF workbook, and let's remove this typecast. Perfect. Now let's try to execute it one more time. Okay, still it is giving the null pointer exception. Why? Because we have this file in the directory or not. So let me check that file. Okay, so let's add one more try catch block over here. So instead of file not found, I'm going to write IO exception. Perfect. So that this error should go. Yep. Now let's execute this one. And that's it. So we got the content out of the Excel sheet. Now it's our choice that how we want to deal with this test data. If you want to provide this test data to the data provider, then obviously we can create a separate method which will read data from the Excel file, and that method will return the test data to the data provider method. Or in a data provider method itself, we can write a code to read the Excel files. Then we can dump all the data from Excel files into the object array, and then we can supply that data to the test case of our choice. So this is how we can handle the .xls file as well as the .xlsx file using Apache POI. Now let us have a look at the difference between JXL and Apache POI. Okay, so first difference we have identified is JXL can handle only XLS files, whereas Apache POI can handle .xlsx files. Okay, the second difference we have identified is JXL reads data as a string values only. Okay, and whereas Apache POI, we can get the type safety of the data. We can get blank type of data, boolean type of data, string type of data, numeric type of data, as well as formula and errors and everything. So Apache POI preserves the type safety of the data which is present inside the Excel sheet. So let's say if you want to perform certain operation on your test data, let's say your test data is having salary and you want to increase your salary by 5% and then provide that salary to some test case. At that point, using Apache POI is a very good choice rather than JXL. Why? Because in JXL, you have to convert the string into floating point of data because your salary is in float. So that kind of typecasting is kind of tricky, and there are chances of having the loss of data in that case. So it is recommended to go for the Apache POI in that case. Okay, then the third difference we have is JXL doesn't support chart creation. So obviously you cannot create the charts using the JXL inside Excel files, but obviously you can create charts inside Apache POI. So it is way too advanced than the JXL. The fourth difference we have is JXL is having very less documentation available. There is very less support available from their community. So very few people are using the JXL. That is why there are no concrete discussion or healthy discussion is happening on the JXL. But most of the people are using Apache POI. So a lot of quality discussion is happening on the Stack Overflow as well as on the different websites. So you may have a good quality of documentation as well as the data available for the Apache POI. So usually Apache software used to create certain documentation for their APIs and libraries they release. So Apache POI is, it's again one more API, and for that they have created a very good documentation on their official website. So you can go on the official website, you can search for any class of the Apache POI library, and then you can have a very good discussion of or very good documentation of those classes on the Apache POI's official website. So this is the difference between JXL and Apache POI. Most of the interviewer will ask you to write down the code to read Excel file. Okay, if you are going for the automation interview, nobody will ask you to write down the code to write data into Excel file. Okay, everyone will ask you to read the data from the Excel file. Okay, so I'm going to share this code on the Git repository, so you can download this code from the Git repository where I have written the code for JXL as well as the Apache POI to read the data from. Obviously, if you want to write data into the Excel files, then I have given the example in the JXL files document also. So I have shared a PDF document with you people on the group. In that document, I have given the code to write data inside XLS file. So this is all about the this is all about the JXL and Apache POI. Do you guys have any questions on this?